Captain G1 Park stood on the bridge of the UES Harmony, watching the stars drift past the viewport. She had commanded this ship for 3 years now, traveling between human colonies and alien worlds, always smiling, always polite, always diplomatic. Sometimes she wanted to scream. "Captain, incoming message from the Vraxil Empire," Lieutenant Minho Choi announced from his station. His voice was calm, but Ji-won saw his jaw tighten. Another message from the Vraxil meant another problem. Ji-won straightened her uniform. "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, showing a Vraxil commander. The alien was tall and reptilian, with dark green scales and yellow eyes that looked at humans like they were insects. "Human vessel, you are ordered to leave the Outer Rim sector immediately. This territory now belongs to the Vraxil Empire." Ji-won kept her face neutral. "Commander, this sector contains 3 human colonies. We have legal settlement rights documented with the Galactic Coalition 40 years ago." The Vraxil hissed, which might have been laughter. "Your documents mean nothing. The Coalition has reviewed our claim and agrees this territory is ours. Remove your colonies within 30 days or we will remove them for you." The transmission ended before Ji-won could respond. She closed her eyes and counted to 10, an old trick her father taught her for controlling anger. "Captain?" Minho asked quietly. "Set course for Coalition headquarters," Ji-won said. "And send a priority message to Ambassador Hyun Kim. Tell him we need to talk." 3 days later, Ji-won sat in Ambassador Hyun Kim's office on the Coalition station. The ambassador was an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been Earth's voice in the galaxy for 15 years, and Ji-won could see those years had worn him down. "They are lying," Hyun said, pouring tea for both of them. "The Coalition never reviewed their claim. The Vraxil simply announced they owned the territory, and no one challenged them." "Why not?" Chawan asked, though she already knew the answer. "Because the Vraxil are powerful. They have the largest fleet in the Coalition, the strongest economy. When they speak, other species listen." Hyun sipped his tea slowly. "And when Earth speaks, they hear a young species that joined the galactic community only 47 years ago. They see us as children." Ji-won set down her cup harder than she meant to. "Children who built 3 thriving colonies from nothing. Children who never started a war, never broke a treaty, never threatened anyone." "I know," Hyun said softly. "I have filed formal protest. I have presented evidence. I have asked for mediation." He looked down at his tea. "They ignore me, every single time." Back on the Harmony, Ji-won found Dr. Yuna Lee in the ship's laboratory. The xenobiologist was studying samples from their last colony visit, but she looked up when Ji-won entered. "How bad is it?" Yuna asked. "Bad. The ambassador says the Coalition will not help us." Ji-won sat down heavily. "The Vraxil think they can take whatever they want." Yuna was quiet for a moment. "You know what bothers me most? We try so hard to fit in here. We follow every rule, respect every custom, smile at every insult, and they still treat us like we do not matter. What choice do we have?" Ji-won asked. "Earth Command says we must maintain good relations. No conflicts, no wars. Show the galaxy that humans are peaceful." "Maybe too peaceful," Yuna muttered, turning back to her work. 2 weeks later, everything changed. Ji-won was reviewing supply reports when alarms screamed across the ship. Minho's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, to the bridge!" Now Ji-won ran. When she reached the bridge, every screen showed the same thing. 3 human colony ships, the ones carrying families to a new settlement in the Outer Rim. All 3 ships were torn apart, debris floating in space where homes and dreams used to be. "What happened?" Ji-won demanded. "Vraxil military exercises," Minho said, his voice shaking with rage. "They were testing new weapons in the shipping lane. They say they did not see the colony ships. They are lying. Of course they are lying." Minho slammed his fist on his console. "Captain, there were 2,000 people on those ships, families, children, and the Vraxil just killed them and called it an accident." Ji-won forced herself to breathe. "Get me Ambassador Kim, and send a full report to Earth Command." The Coalition's response came the next day. An official statement expressed regret about the unfortunate incident, but accepted the Vraxil explanation. No investigation, no consequences. Just words that meant nothing. Ambassador Hyun Kim delivered Earth's response to the full Coalition assembly. Ji-won watched the transmission from the Harmony, seeing the ambassador stand before hundreds of alien species. The destruction of 3 human vessels and the deaths of 2,000 humans cannot be dismissed as an accident, Hyun said clearly. We have evidence showing the Vraxil knew exactly where our ships were. We demand a full investigation and compensation for the families who lost loved ones, a Vraxil representative stood. The human ambassador makes accusations without proof. His species is young and emotional. They do not understand these things happen in space. Other species murmured agreement. No one spoke for humanity. Hyun tried again. If you will not investigate, then at least prevent future incidents. Recognize human territorial claims in the Outer Rim and keep Vraxil military forces away from our colonies. The Outer Rim belongs to the Vraxil, another alien said. This matter is closed. The transmission ended. Ji-won sat in her captain's chair, staring at the blank screen. Around her, the bridge crew was silent. They all understood what had just happened. The galaxy had shown its true face. Human lives did not matter, Captain Minho said carefully. What are your orders? Ji-won thought about the 2,000 dead. She thought about the 3 colonies waiting to be stolen. She thought about 47 years of Earth being polite while aliens treated them like nothing. Set course for the Outer Rim, she said. Earth Command wants us to maintain diplomatic protocols, so that is what we will do. But we are going to protect our colonies. How? Minho asked. The Vraxil have 15 warships in that sector. We are a diplomatic vessel. Ji-won smiled, and it was not a friendly smile. Are we? Check the latest orders from Earth Command. Section 7, subsection 12, Minho pulled up the orders. His eyes widened. Captain, these say we should prepare contingencies. They mention Protocol Nemesis. Yes, Ji-won said. I think Earth Command knows something we do not. I think they have been preparing for this day. Dr. Yuna Lee arrived on the bridge. I heard what happened at the coalition. Ji-won, what do we do now? Ji-won looked at her crew. Good people, all of them. People who joined Earth's diplomatic service because they believed in peace. But she saw something else in their eyes now. Not just sadness or fear. She saw anger. Cold, patient anger. Now, Ji-won said quietly, we stop pretending everything is fine. We keep following orders. We stay diplomatic. But if the Vraxil attack our colonies, if they hurt one more human, she paused. Then we show them who we really are. The Harmony jumped to faster than light speed, heading toward the Outer Rim. Behind them, on Earth, in secret facilities hidden across the solar system, other ships were waking up. Ships the galaxy had never seen. Ships Earth built while smiling and shaking hands and playing nice. The countdown had begun, though the Vraxil did not know it yet. Humanity had been patient for 47 years. But patience has limits, and those limits were reached. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. Private Sujin. Oh checked her weapon for the 3rd time in 10 minutes. The colony of Haven 7 was quiet tonight, too quiet. She stood guard at the main settlement entrance, watching the dark sky for any sign of trouble. You are nervous, said her partner, Corporal Daehyun-ko. He was older, more experienced, and somehow always calm. The Vraxil are coming, Sujin said. Everyone knows it. They want this planet, and they do not care that we were here first. Daehyun nodded slowly. Maybe they come. Maybe they do not. Either way, we do our job, but they did come. 3 days later, Vraxil warships appeared in orbit above Haven 7. Sujin watched from the walls as alien dropships descended like metal rain. Within an hour, Vraxil soldiers surrounded the colony. There were 300 humans at Haven 7. There were 3,000 Vraxil soldiers. The Vraxil commander, a massive creature with scars across his scales, announced his terms through speakers that echoed across the settlement. This world belongs to the Vraxil Empire. You will surrender all weapons and wait for transport ships to remove you. Any resistance will be met with death. Governor Kangmin Song, the colony leader, stepped forward. He was an old man who had led the settlement since its founding. This is a peaceful colony. We have children here. Please, let us contact Earth and arrange proper evacuation. The Vraxil commander laughed. Contact whoever you want. The galaxy will not help you. Surrender now. They had no choice. Sujin handed over her weapon, watching the Vraxil take everything the colonists had built. The aliens herded everyone into the main square, 300 humans surrounded by weapons and contempt. Far above, in orbit, the UES Harmony dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Captain Ji-won Park saw the Vraxil ships immediately. Battle stations, she ordered, though her heart sank. 6 Vraxil warships. The Harmony was not built for this fight. Open communications with the Vraxil commander. A Vraxil face appeared on screen, different from the one on the ground. Human vessel, leave the system immediately. This is Vraxil territory. You have taken human colonists hostage, G1 said. Release them now. We can resolve this peacefully. There is nothing to resolve. These humans are trespassing. They will be removed and sent back to Earth. Maybe, if they behave. The alien's smile showed too many teeth. G1 kept her voice steady. I am authorized to negotiate. Let us discuss terms, no negotiation. Leave or be destroyed. The transmission ended. Minho looked at his captain. Orders? G1 wanted to fight. Everything in her wanted to fire every weapon the Harmony had. But 6 Vraxil warships would destroy them in minutes, and then no one could help the colonists. Hold position. Get me Ambassador Kim. And Earth Command. Emergency priority. On the surface of Haven 7, the situation grew worse. The Vraxil commander ordered the colonists to line up. He walked down the line, studying each human like they were animals. When he reached Governor Kangmin Song, he stopped. You are the leader? The Vraxil asked. Yes, Kangmin said calmly. And I again ask you to allow us to contact Earth and arrange proper... The Vraxil shot him. One blast and Governor Song fell dead. Screams erupted from the colonists. Sujin grabbed the person next to her, a young girl named Yunji, pulling her close. Silence, the Vraxil roared. That is what happens when humans talk too much. Now listen carefully. We are going to send a message to your Earth and your useless coalition, a message about what happens when inferior species claim territory that is not theirs. He pointed at 50 colonists, including Sujin. These humans will be executed. The rest of you will watch and learn respect. Sujin's blood turned to ice. Next to her, little Yunji started crying. Around them, the selected colonists were pushed together, surrounded by Vraxil weapons. This could not be happening. Humans were part of the Galactic Coalition. There were laws, rules, procedures, but no help came. The Vraxil commander activated a communication device, broadcasting to the entire galaxy. Let this be a lesson to all who challenge the Vraxil Empire. The execution was broadcast live across the galaxy. 50 humans killed while the rest of the colonists watched in horror. Sujin survived only because at the last moment another colonist pushed her aside and took her place. She never even learned that man's name. On the Harmony, the crew watched in silence. When it was over, when 50 bodies lay on the ground, Minho turned away from his screen. Several crew members were crying. Jiwan stood frozen, her hands gripping her chair so hard her knuckles turned white. She thought about Earth's orders. Be diplomatic. Maintain peace. Show restraint, Captain, Minho whispered. Tell me we are not just going to accept this. Before Jiwan could answer, a message came through from Earth. Ambassador Hyun Kim appeared on screen, and his face looked like it had aged 10 years in one day. Captain Park, I have just addressed the Galactic Coalition one final time, Hyun said. His voice was different now, harder, colder. I told them they have 24 hours to force the Vraxil to release the remaining hostages. If they do not, Earth will respond appropriately. And if the Coalition refuses? Jiwan asked, though she knew the answer. Hyun's expression was ice. Then Protocol Nemesis is activated. Admiral Donga Shin sends his regards. He says you will understand soon. The transmission ended. Jiwan pulled up her orders and found the section labeled Protocol Nemesis. As she read, her eyes widened. Around her, bridge crew members who could see her screen had similar reactions. Captain? Dr. Yuna Lee asked. What is Protocol Nemesis? It is everything, Jiwan said slowly. Everything Earth has been hiding. Yuna, did you know Earth has been building warships in secret for 30 years? What? That is impossible. The Coalition monitors all member species' military production. They monitor what they can see, Minho said, reading over Jiwan's shoulder. Captain, according to this, there are over 100 warships hidden throughout the solar system. Real warships, not diplomatic vessels. Ships with weapons the galaxy has never seen. Jiwan kept reading. The Harmony itself was part of the deception. Beneath its diplomatic exterior, hidden in sections of the ship her own crew did not know about, were weapons that could destroy Vraxil warships with ease. This ship is a trap, she said in wonder. We have been flying around the galaxy as bait, pretending to be weak. The whole time, Earth was preparing for war. The 24 hours passed. The Galactic Coalition met and discussed and debated. In the end, they did nothing. The species who made up the coalition were comfortable, complacent, and afraid of the Vraxil. Easier to sacrifice a few humans than risk making the Vraxil angry. Ambassador Hyun Kim stood before the coalition one last time. This time he did not argue or plead or ask nicely. "You have made your choice," Hyun said. "You have shown that human lives mean nothing to you. Very well, remember this moment. Remember that we gave you a chance. Remember that everything that happens next is because you chose to do nothing." On Haven 7, the Vraxil commander gathered the colonists again. "Since your Earth refuses to be reasonable, we will execute 50 more humans. Perhaps that will teach them respect." He selected his victims, including young Yoonji. Sujin screamed and tried to reach the girl, but Vraxil soldiers held her back. The commander raised his weapon toward Yoonji's head. The little girl closed her eyes. The weapon never fired. Instead, the sky above Haven 7 suddenly filled with light. Ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, dozens of them, then hundreds. Ships with designs no one in the galaxy had ever seen. Ships that moved like sharks, dark and deadly and beautiful. The Vraxil commander looked up in confusion. His confusion lasted exactly 3 seconds before the first human warship fired. The shot was surgical, precise, cutting through Vraxil shields like they were made of paper. The commander simply disappeared, gone in a flash of light. Around the colony, every Vraxil weapon suddenly went dead. Their communication devices failed. Their ships lost power. It happened so fast the Vraxil did not even have time to react. A voice boomed across Haven 7, speaking in perfect Vraxil language. "Vraxil forces, you have 30 seconds to surrender. Any soldier who harms a human colonist will be eliminated. Your choice." The Vraxil soldiers looked at each other. They looked at their dead weapons. They looked at the human warships filling the sky. Then slowly they raised their hands. In orbit, the 6 Vraxil warships tried to fight. It was over in minutes. Human ships moved faster, hit harder, coordinated better. When the battle ended, all 6 Vraxil vessels were destroyed. The human fleet had not lost a single ship. On the Harmony's bridge, Captain Ji-won Park watched as her diplomatic vessel transformed. Hidden panels opened, revealing weapons that hummed with power. Her crew stared in amazement. "All ships," a new voice said over communications. "This is Admiral Dong-ha Shin of the Earth Defense Fleet. For 47 years we have been patient. For 47 years we have been peaceful. That ends now. Any species that harms humans, any species that stands with the Vraxil against us will learn what humanity really is. We are done pretending to be weak." Sujin held Yoonji close as human soldiers landed on Haven 7. Real soldiers, in armor that made them look like warriors from ancient stories. They moved through the Vraxil forces like a storm, securing the colony in minutes. A soldier stopped in front of Sujin. "Are you hurt?" Sujin shook her head, unable to speak. The soldier smiled. "You are safe now. We are taking you home. All of you. And I promise you this, the Vraxil will never threaten a human colony again." Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, billions of beings watched what happened at Haven 7. They watched humanity's hidden fleet appear. They watched Vraxil forces crushed in minutes. They watched a species they thought was weak reveal itself as something else entirely. The galaxy had pushed humanity too far. Now they would learn the price of that mistake. Commander Taejin Kang moved through the colony like death itself. His team, the Reaper Corps, wore black armor that seemed to drink in light. They were Earth's best soldiers, trained for situations exactly like this. Behind him, 19 other soldiers moved in perfect coordination, clearing buildings and securing hostages. "Building 7 clear," one soldier reported. 15 colonists recovered, no injuries. "Building 12 clear," another voice said. 20 colonists. "One needs medical attention." Taejin checked his display. 14 minutes since they landed. 250 colonists recovered. 50 still missing, probably in the main compound where the Vraxil commander had set up his headquarters. "Minseok, status on their communications?" Taejin asked. Specialist Minseok Ryu sat in the Harmony's Cyber Warfare Center, his fingers dancing across multiple screens. "All Vraxil systems are locked down, Commander. They cannot call for help, cannot activate weapons, cannot even open doors without my permission. They are completely blind." "Good, keep it that way." Taejin's team reached the main compound. Inside, 300 Vraxil soldiers held the last 50 colonists. The building was designed like a fortress with thick walls and only 2 entrances. A normal assault would take hours and cost lives. Taejin did not do normal assaults. Breaching in 3, 2, 1. The walls exploded inward, not from missiles or grenades but from something new. Engineer Jisoo Nam's gravitic charges created localized gravity fields that simply tore matter apart. 4 openings appeared in the fortress walls simultaneously. The Reaper Corps poured through. What happened next was not a battle. It was an execution, swift and merciless. Vraxil soldiers tried to raise their weapons, but human reflexes were faster. Human aim was better. Human armor was stronger. In 90 seconds, 300 Vraxil soldiers lay dead or unconscious. The hostages stared in shock. One of them, a young girl named Unji, recognized the black armor from old Earth military stories. "The Reapers," she whispered. "I thought you were just legends." Taejin's helmet retracted, showing his face. He knelt down to the girl's level. "We are real, and you are safe now. All of you. Can you walk?" She nodded, and Taejin's team began evacuating the colonists. Total time from landing to mission complete, 14 minutes, 37 seconds. 0 human casualties, 300 Vraxil enemies neutralized. In orbit, Admiral Dongha Shin stood on the bridge of the EDS Retribution Humanities flagship. Around him, screens showed the tactical situation. 127 human warships formed a perfect sphere around Haven 7. 6 Vraxil vessels. Now just debris drifted in their graves. "Admiral, the Vraxil are sending reinforcements," his tactical officer reported. 3 full fleets approaching from different vectors. 62 warships total. Dongha smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Let them come. Weapon status? All ships ready. Quantum disruptors charged. Gravitic lances online. Point defense systems active. Good." Dongha activated fleet-wide communications. "All ships listen carefully. The Vraxil think they can beat us with numbers. They think their shields and weapons will protect them. They are wrong. We have trained for this moment for 30 years. We have built these ships in secret, tested them where no one could see, prepared for the day when Earth would need real warriors. That day is today. Show them what humanity really is. Show them why we rule our own world. No mercy, no surrender. Earth expects every ship to do its duty." The Vraxil fleets arrived confident. They had never lost a major battle. Their empire spanned hundreds of worlds. They had fought and defeated dozens of species. Humans were just the latest to learn their place. The first Vraxil fleet opened fire at maximum range, launching thousands of missiles. Standard coalition warfare tactics. Overwhelm enemy defenses with volume of fire. The missiles never reached the human ships. Minsuk's cyber warfare systems took control of half of them, sending them back toward the Vraxil. Point defense lasers destroyed the rest. Not one missile got through. "Their turn is over," Dongha said quietly. "Now it is ours. All ships fire at will." What the Vraxil saw next would haunt their species forever. Human ships did not fire missiles. They fired beams of twisted gravity that tore through Vraxil shields like they did not exist. Matter simply came apart at the molecular level, ships crumbling into dust. They fired quantum disruptors that phased through armor and exploded inside vessels. Vraxil warships died from the inside out, their crews gone before they even knew they were under attack. They fired kinetic lances, simple metal rods accelerated to 90% of light speed. When those rods hit, entire ships split in half. The Vraxil commander of the First Fleet watched his tactical display with growing horror. In 3 minutes, he had lost 20 ships. Human vessels were not damaged. "Not one. Retreat," he ordered. "All ships retreat to—" A gravitic lance struck his flagship. The ship folded in on itself like paper, then exploded. The debris field glowed briefly before scattering into the void. The second and third Vraxil fleets saw what happened to the first. They did not run. Vraxil honor demanded they fight. Vraxil pride insisted they could win. They were wrong on both counts. 47 minutes after the battle started, 62 Vraxil warships were destroyed. The human fleet had 0 casualties. Some ships had minor shield damage. That was all. Across the galaxy, species watched in real time. The broadcasts were everywhere. News networks, government channels, even entertainment streams. Everyone saw the same thing. Humanity's military power was beyond anything the Coalition had imagined. On the Harmony, Captain Jiwon Park met with the rescued colonists. They were being evacuated to Earth, given medical care, provided with grief counselors. Many had seen family members killed. All had watched the galaxy abandon them. Sujin-Oh stood among them, still holding Yunji's hand. She looked at Captain Park with something between gratitude and anger. "Why did you wait?" Sujin asked. "You had these ships, these weapons, these soldiers. Why did you wait until 50 people were killed?" It was the question everyone was asking. Jiwan had asked herself the same thing 100 times. "Because we hoped it would not come to this," Jiwan said honestly. "Earth has been part of the galaxy for 47 years. We wanted to be friends, partners, equals. We built this fleet not to use it, but to ensure we never needed to use it. We thought if we were patient enough, kind enough, peaceful enough, the galaxy would accept us. But they did not," Sujin said bitterly. "No. They saw our patience as weakness, our peace as cowardice, our kindness as stupidity." Jiwan looked at all the colonists. "I am sorry we did not act sooner. I am sorry your friends died. But I promise you this. No other human will die like that. Never again will the galaxy think it can harm humans without consequences." Later, Jiwan found Lieutenant Minho Choi in the observation deck. He was watching the human fleet through the window, ships moving in perfect formation. "I keep thinking about what that Vraxil soldier said," Minho told her, "before we took him prisoner. He said we tricked them, that we lied about being peaceful." "What did you tell him?" "I told him we did not lie. We are peaceful. We just are not weak. There is a difference." Minho shook his head. He could not understand. None of them can. They think military strength and violence are the same thing. They do not understand that the strongest person is the one who can fight, but chooses not to. "Until they have no choice," Jiwan added. "Until we have no choice," Minho agreed.
"Captain, what happens now?"
"The Vraxil will not accept this defeat. Their pride will not allow it." Jiwan pulled up a report from Earth Command. "Admiral Shin is already moving. Human fleets are being deployed to 18 Vraxil military systems, not civilian worlds, just military bases and shipyards. We are going to cripple their ability to make war. And if they surrender, then we stop. Earth does not want conquest. We just want them to leave us alone." Jiwan looked at Minho. "But if they keep fighting, if they force us to destroy them completely, that is on them. We gave them a warning. We gave them a chance. They chose to ignore it." On one of the captured Vraxil ships, a surviving officer was being interrogated. Commander Taejin Kang sat across from him, patient and calm. "I do not understand," the Vraxil said. His universal translator made his confusion clear. "Your species is young. You have been in space for barely a century. How do you have such weapons, such ships, such soldiers?" Taejin leaned back. "You want to know our secret? We have been fighting each other for thousands of years. Long before we went to space, we fought wars that killed millions. We built weapons that could destroy our whole world. We learned to fight harder, smarter, and more brutally than you can imagine." "Then you are no better than us," the Vraxil said. "No," Taejin corrected. "We are better, because we learned to stop. We looked at what war cost us and we chose peace. We built a unified government. We ended conflicts. We reached for the stars together. But stopping war does not mean forgetting how. We remembered every lesson, every tactic, every weapon. We just hoped we would never need them again. But you did need them. Because you forced us to." Taejin stood. "You attacked our colonies. You killed our people. You thought we were prey. You were wrong. Humans are not prey. We are predators who chose to be farmers. But push us hard enough, hurt us badly enough, and you will see our teeth. Your empire is learning that lesson right now." The Vraxil officer said nothing. What could he say? His species had ruled this region of space for centuries. They had crushed rebellions, conquered worlds, destroyed enemies. Now they were the ones being crushed. Admiral Donga Shin received a message from the Vraxil High Command. They wanted to negotiate, to discuss terms, to find a peaceful solution. "Too late," Donga said. They had 47 years to negotiate. They had 24 hours to release our hostages. They chose violence. Now they will learn what real violence looks like. Send the fleets to their targets. Begin Operation Retribution. Across the galaxy, human ships appeared at Vraxil military installations. The message was the same everywhere. Evacuate all personnel. You have 1 hour. This facility will be destroyed. The Vraxil tried to defend their bases. It did not matter. Human firepower was overwhelming. Human tactics were flawless. Human determination was absolute. Dr. Yuna Lee, watching from the Harmony, sent messages to Vraxil civilian channels. Your government started this war. Your leaders chose to harm innocents. We are not like them. Evacuate military zones. We do not make war on civilians. But your military will be destroyed. Tell your leaders to surrender while they still have a military left. Some Vraxil listened, others did not. But the message spread. Humans followed rules in war. They did not target civilians. They gave warnings. They showed mercy to those who surrendered. It made them more dangerous, not less. An enemy who follows no rules is eventually stopped by their own chaos. An enemy who fights with honor, who uses precision instead of brutality, who destroys only what must be destroyed, that enemy is unstoppable. The galaxy was learning this lesson, and the lesson was written in the wreckage of Vraxil warships. President Heiyun Song stood before the Galactic Coalition Assembly, and this time the chamber was silent. Every species, every delegate, every representative watched her with something they had not shown humans before. Fear. 47 years ago, Heiyun began, her voice steady and cold. Earth joined your coalition with hope. We believed in cooperation. We believed in peace. We believed that a community of species could work together, protect each other, and grow stronger together. She paused, letting her words sink in. We were wrong. For 47 years you ignored us. You dismissed our concerns. You laughed at our protests. When the Vraxil killed 2,000 humans, you called it an accident. When they executed 50 colonists on live broadcast, you did nothing. You thought we would accept this treatment forever. A coalition delegate, a floating creature from the Wexus species, spoke up. Earth has revealed military capabilities that violate coalition law. All member species must register their military assets. You hid warships, weapons, soldiers. You deceived us, Heiyun smiled, and it was not pleasant. We registered exactly what coalition law required. The law says we must report active military vessels and deployed forces. Our fleet was not active. Our weapons were not deployed. Our soldiers were not in service. Everything we built in our own system using our own resources. We broke no laws. You exploited loopholes, the Wexis accused. We planned ahead, Heiyun corrected. Earth has been building defensive capabilities since the day we joined the coalition. We saw how you treated weaker species. We saw how strength is the only thing you truly respect. So we became strong. While you ignored us, we prepared. While you laughed at us, we trained. While you thought we were harmless, we built the most advanced military in the galaxy. Not because we wanted to conquer anyone, because we refused to be victims. She pulled up a holographic display showing 23 separate incidents. These are attacks on human interests over the past 47 years. Mining facilities destroyed, trade ships seized, colonies threatened. Every single time we filed formal complaints. Every single time you ignored us. Now you want to claim we are the problem? General Ye Jun Quan stood beside President Song. He was old, with white hair and scars from Earth's last global war, 70 years ago. The Vraxil Empire has declared total war on humanity. 4 other species have joined them. The Krillians, the Nexoth, the Vural, and the Thendorians. Together, they have mobilized over 400 warships. They believe their numbers will overwhelm us. He smiled like a grandfather about to tell a joke. They are wrong. Ambassador Gina Beck, who replaced Hyun Kim after he resigned in protest, stepped forward. Earth's position is simple. We will defend ourselves. We will protect our colonies. We will eliminate any threat to human safety. If the coalition wants to stop this war, then make the Vraxil surrender. Make them return all captured human assets. Make them pay compensation to the families they destroyed. Do that, and we will stop fighting. And if they refuse, the Wexus delegate asked, then we will remove the Vraxil Empire as a threat, Gina said simply. Permanently. The chamber erupted in noise. Species shouting, demanding, threatening. But under it all, Heiyun heard something else, fear. They were afraid of what humanity had become. Good. Fear meant respect. On the bridge of the EDS Retribution, Admiral Dongha Shin coordinated the largest human military operation in history. 18 systems, 18 simultaneous attacks. It was ambitious, aggressive, and absolutely necessary. Admiral, all fleets report ready, his tactical officer said. Execute Operation Retribution. Across hundreds of light years, human ships moved. They appeared at Vraxil military installations with perfect timing. The attacks were coordinated down to the second. At the Vraxil Naval Base in the Cairo system, Captain Jiwan Park commanded the assault. The Harmony led a task force of 30 ships against a fortified position defended by 50 Vraxil warships. All ships. This is Captain Park. Remember your training. Minseok, start the party. Specialist Minseok Ryu unleashed his cyber warfare suites. Vraxil computer systems began failing across the entire base. Communications went dark. Sensors gave false readings. Weapon safeties activated randomly. The Vraxil found themselves fighting their own technology. Enemy fleet launching, Minho reported. The 50 Vraxil ships moved to engage, but they were already fighting blind. Half their systems were compromised. Their formation was chaos. The human fleet hit them like a hammer. Gravitic lances tore through Vraxil flagships. Quantum disruptors phased inside smaller vessels and detonated. Kinetic rounds moving at relativistic speeds punched through armor like paper. In 12 minutes, the Vraxil defense fleet was destroyed. The base's shields collapsed. Jiwan gave the evacuation warning, then waited exactly 1 hour. Then she gave the order and her fleet reduced the military base to atoms. The pattern repeated at all 18 targets. Human ships appeared, destroyed defenders, gave evacuation warnings, then eliminated military infrastructure. The message was clear. Earth could strike anywhere, anytime, and the Vraxil could not stop them. 3 of the 4 species allied with the Vraxil immediately sued for peace. The Krillians, Nexoth, and Varal had joined the war expecting an easy victory. Instead, they watched human fleets systematically dismantle Vraxil military power while taking minimal casualties. They wanted no part of that fight. Only the Thendorians continued fighting alongside the Vraxil. They were a warrior culture that valued honor and glory. Surrendering without a real fight would shame them forever. Commander Taejin Kang led the Reaper Corps in an assault on a Thendorian military academy. His orders were specific. Disable the facility but capture, not kill, the students. Remember, he told his team as they dropped toward the planet. These are kids. Trained fighters, yes, but still kids. We show them what it means to lose a fight and still live to learn from it. The battle was brief. The Thendorian students fought with courage and skill. Under other circumstances, Taejin might have been impressed. But courage and skill meant nothing against superior technology and decades more experience. His team captured 300 Thendorian cadets without killing a single one. Taejin gathered them in the academy's main hall. You fought well, he told them. Your instructors taught you honor and bravery. Those are good lessons, but they did not teach you wisdom. Wisdom is knowing when to fight and when to stop. Your leaders chose to attack humanity. That was unwise. Now you are prisoners of war, but you are alive. Remember that when you tell stories about this day. Remember that humans could have killed you but chose not to. Maybe that lesson will make you wiser than your leaders. The eldest Thendorian cadet, a young warrior named Rek, asked, Why? Why spare us? In war you kill your enemies. No, Taejin said. In war you defeat your enemies. Killing is sometimes necessary, but it is not the goal. We are not here to commit genocide. We are here to stop people from hurting us. You stopped fighting, so we stopped killing. That is the difference between warriors and murderers. Dr. Yuna Lee worked aboard a hospital ship, treating wounded from both sides. Human casualties were remarkably low, but there were some. Vraxil and Thendorian prisoners needed medical care too. And Earth's policy was clear. All wounded received treatment regardless of species. A Vraxil soldier woke up in the medical bay, confused and in pain. He saw Yuna treating his wounds. Why, he asked. Why save me? I tried to kill your people. Because you are wounded and I am a doctor, Yuna said simply. What happens after you heal, that is for others to decide. Right now my job is to make sure you do not die. The Vraxil stared at her. I do not understand humans. You are the strongest military we have ever faced. You could exterminate us. Instead, you give warnings. You spare civilians. You treat prisoners. Why? Yuna finished bandaging his wounds. Because strength without mercy is just brutality. Because being able to kill someone does not mean you should. Because we remember what it was like when humans fought each other without rules or honor. We almost destroyed ourselves. We learned that real strength is not about how much damage you can cause. It is about how much damage you can prevent while still protecting what matters. Reports came in from all 18 systems. Operation Retribution was a complete success. Vraxil military capacity was reduced by 60%. Their ability to project power beyond their core systems was effectively eliminated. The cost to humanity: 14 ships damaged, none destroyed. 43 casualties, all wounded, none killed. President Heun Song addressed Earth and the galaxy. The Vraxil Empire has been defeated. Their military is broken. Their allies have abandoned them. They can no longer threaten human colonies or human lives. But we are not finished. General Quan, what is the status of their remaining forces? General Yejun Quan displayed a tactical map. The Vraxil still have approximately 160 warships concentrated around their home system. They are preparing for a final battle. Then we will give them one, Heun said. Assemble the full fleet. We are going to end this war. Ambassador Gina Bayek received a desperate message from the Vraxil High Command. They wanted to negotiate. They offered territory, resources, anything Earth wanted. Too late, Gina told them. You had chances to negotiate. You chose to kill our people instead. Now you have no leverage. You have no allies. You have no hope. Surrender unconditionally or be destroyed. Those are your options. The Vraxil refused. Their pride would not allow surrender. They would fight to the last ship, the last soldier, the last breath. So be it, Admiral Dong Ha-shin said when he heard the news. All ships set course for the Vraxil home system. We finish this. The human fleet that approached the Vraxil homeworld was the largest military force ever assembled by Earth. 200 warships, carrying the best technology humanity could build, crewed by the best people Earth could train. They came not for conquest, not for revenge, but to ensure that no one would ever threaten humanity again. Captain Ji-won Park stood on the Harmony's bridge, watching the fleet move in perfect formation. Minho, do you think they will really fight to the end? Their leaders will, Minho said. But their people? I am not sure. They have to see that this is hopeless. Then we show them, Ji-won said. We show them one last time that they cannot win. And we show them that surrender is not shameful. It is smart. The Vraxil fleet waited in defensive positions around their home world. 160 ships, their last hope, their final stand. They were ready to die for their empire. They did not know it yet, but they were about to learn that dying for your empire means nothing if your empire is not worth dying for. They were about to learn that honor means knowing when you have lost. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons or ships or soldiers. It was their willingness to stop fighting the moment their enemy stopped being a threat. The final battle was about to begin. The Vraxil home system was beautiful. 3 planets orbited a yellow star, and the second planet was covered in cities that glowed like jewels. Billions of Vraxil lived here, going about their lives, most of them not understanding that their empire was dying. Admiral Dong Ha-shin looked at that planet and felt no hatred. The civilians down there had not killed humans. They were just people living their lives, controlled by leaders who made terrible choices. Open a channel to the Vraxil fleet, he ordered. All frequencies. I want every ship, every station, and every civilian receiver to hear this. The communication went out across the entire system. This is Admiral Dong Ha-shin of the Earth Defense Fleet. We are here to end this war. Your military has been defeated. Your allies have abandoned you. Your leader's pride has brought you to this moment. But this does not have to end in more death. Surrender now. Power down your weapons. Accept our terms. No one else needs to die today. The response came from the Vraxil Supreme Commander, an ancient warrior named Thrax who had led their military for 30 years. Humans, you have won many battles, but you have not won the war. We will defend our home with our last breath. Come and face us if you dare. Dong-ha sighed. So be it. All ships begin Operation Final Warning. Min-suk, show them what we can do. Specialist Min-suk Ryu sat surrounded by screens showing every computer system in the Vraxil fleet. His fingers moved like a musician playing a symphony. Yes, sir. Beginning demonstration. On the Vraxil flagship, Supreme Commander Thrax watched his tactical display. Then he watched it shut down. Then restart. Then display a message in perfect Vraxil script. We control your systems. Every screen on every Vraxil ship showed the same message. Their weapons safeties engaged. Their engines throttled down to minimum power. Their communications played music, Earth music, peaceful and calm. What is happening? Thrax roared.
Get our systems back online.
His technical crew tried everything. Nothing worked. The humans had complete control over their ships. Then as suddenly as it started, everything returned to normal. Thrax had full control of his fleet again. Another message appeared. We could have destroyed you just now. We chose not to surrender. Thrax's pride would not let him. All ships attack! For the Empire! The Vraxil fleet charged forward, 160 warships against 200 human vessels. It should have been a close battle. It was not. Captain Jaiwan Park coordinated her task force with mechanical precision. Target their weapons systems only. Disable, do not destroy. Show them they cannot hurt us, but we can still spare them. The human fleet opened fire, and every shot was perfect. Gravitic lances surgically removed Vraxil weapon systems. Quantum disruptors disabled engines without destroying ships. Cyber warfare attacks locked down backup systems. In 20 minutes, 50 Vraxil ships floated dead in space, completely disarmed but intact. Their crews were alive and unharmed, just unable to fight. Cease fire, Jiwan ordered. Let them think about what just happened. Supreme Commander Thrax stared at his tactical display in disbelief. 50 ships disabled, not destroyed. 0 human casualties. His fleet's attacks had not even damaged human shields. Admiral Dongha's voice came through again. Commander Thrax, you have seen what we can do. We can destroy your entire fleet in less than an hour. We can do it without losing a single ship. But we do not want to kill you. We want you to surrender. Save your people. Save your crews. There is no shame in losing to a superior force. The shame is in sacrificing lives for pride. On the bridge of the EDS Retribution, General Yejun Quan watched the battle data. Admiral, the Vraxil fleet is regrouping. They are going to attack again. Let them, Dongha said calmly. Every time they attack and fail, more of them will realize this is hopeless. We break their will, not their bodies. The Vraxil charged again. This time, the human fleet did not even fire back. They simply dodged. Every Vraxil weapon missed. Every missile was avoided. Every energy beam hit empty space. The human ships moved like dancers, graceful and impossible to hit. After 10 minutes of firing at nothing, the Vraxil fleet stopped. They had exhausted half their ammunition hitting empty space. The humans had not fired a single shot. On one Vraxil ship, a young officer named Krell turned to his captain. Sir, this is insane. They are playing with us. They could kill us anytime they want. Why are we still fighting? The captain had no answer. Dr. Yuna Lee sent another broadcast to the Vraxil homeworld. People of the Vraxil Empire, your leaders are about to sacrifice your fleet for nothing. We do not want to kill them. We will give them every chance to surrender. But if they force us to destroy them, that blood is on your leaders' hands, not ours. Call your government. Demand they end this war. You have lost. Accepting that fact is not weakness. It is wisdom. Across the Vraxil homeworld, civilians watched the battle through long-range sensors. They saw their mighty fleet unable to land a single hit. They saw human ships moving with impossible precision. They saw their leaders' pride leading to disaster. Protests erupted in the capital city. Millions of Vraxil demanded their government surrender. The war was lost. Everyone could see it except Supreme Commander Thrax. But Thrax was old, and old warriors often care more about honor than sense. All remaining ships prepare for final assault. We will ram them if we must. Better to die fighting than live in shame. Commander Taejin Kang led a team of Reaper Corps soldiers in a desperate mission. They infiltrated the Vraxil flagship using stolen transport codes. Their target, Supreme Commander Thrax himself. Remember, Taejin told his team, we need him alive. He is a symbol to his people. If we kill him, he becomes a martyr. If we capture him, he becomes a lesson. They moved through the flagship like ghosts. Vraxil security never saw them coming. In 15 minutes, they reached the command bridge. Taejin crashed through the door with his team behind him. Thrax spun around, reaching for his weapon. Taejin was faster. A single stun round dropped the Supreme Commander. All Vraxil vessels, this is Commander Kang of Earth's Reaper Corps. Your Supreme Commander is now in our custody, alive and unharmed. Your fleet is defeated. Your military is broken. Stop fighting, please. We do not want to kill you. On the Vraxil flagship bridge, junior officers stared at each other. Their commander was captured. Their fleet was helpless. Their empire was finished. What did honor mean now? Officer Krell made a decision. He opened a channel to all Vraxil ships. All vessels, this is Acting Commander Krell of the flagship. I am ordering a full fleet stand down. Power down weapons. Disengage engines. We have lost this war. More death will not change that. It is time to accept reality. Some ships obeyed immediately. Others hesitated. A few, commanded by officers as stubborn as Thrax, refused and tried to continue fighting alone. Admiral Dongha targeted those ships specifically. This time, his fleet did not disable weapons. They destroyed the ships completely. Quick, clean, final. It was a message, surrender or die. No more chances. The remaining Vraxil ships surrendered. President Heun Song addressed the galaxy from Earth. The war is over. The Vraxil Empire has surrendered unconditionally. Human casualties. 217 wounded, 14 killed. Vraxil casualties, approximately 40,000 military personnel killed, another 100,000 wounded. We did not want these numbers. We gave them every chance to stop. They chose to keep fighting. Remember that, she paused, letting her words sink in across thousands of worlds. Earth's terms are as follows. The Vraxil Empire will cede all territory taken from human colonies. They will pay compensation to every family who lost someone due to Vraxil aggression. They will reduce their military to defensive forces only, with human observers ensuring compliance. They will join a new treaty organization that prevents future conflicts through arbitration instead of war. The Galactic Coalition, Heun continued, has proven itself unable to maintain peace or protect its members. Therefore, Earth is establishing the Frontier Alliance. Any species who wants genuine mutual defense, fair arbitration, and equal treatment is welcome to join. Those who prefer the old way, where might makes right and the strong exploit the weak, may stay with the coalition. Within a week, 40 species applied to join the Frontier Alliance. Within a month, 60 more. The Galactic Coalition, which had existed for thousands of years, fractured almost overnight. On Haven 7, the colony was rebuilding. Private Sujino helped young Yunji plant a tree where Governor Kangmin Song died. Will the Vraxil come back? Yunji asked. No, Sujin said with certainty. Never again. Earth will make sure of that. Because we have big ships and strong weapons? Because we have those things and we know when to use them. Sujin patted the soil around the tree. Power without control is just destruction. But power with control? That is protection. Captain Jiwon Park received a promotion to Admiral. She would command the new Frontier Guard, human fleets stationed throughout the sector to ensure treaty compliance. On her last day commanding the Harmony, she walked through the ship with Lieutenant Minho Choi. Do you think we did the right thing? Minho asked. All those Vraxil who died even after we gave them chances to surrender. I think we did the necessary thing, Jiwon said. Right would have been the galaxy treating us fairly from the start. Right would have been the Vraxil never attacking our colonies. We did not get right. We got reality, and in reality sometimes you have to fight to protect what matters. Will there be other wars? Minho asked. Maybe. Probably. Humanity's display of strength prevented some conflicts, but it will also make us a target for others who want to prove themselves. Jiwon smiled slightly. But now they know. They know we are not weak. They know we will fight when necessary. And most importantly, they know we will win. That knowledge will prevent more wars than it starts. Ambassador Hyun Kim, who came out of retirement to help establish the Frontier Alliance, met with representatives from dozens of species. Many came to apologize for how the coalition treated humanity. Others came seeking protection from stronger neighbors. Some came simply because they respected strength. Earth does not seek to dominate the galaxy, Hyun told them. We tried being peaceful and you ignored us. So we became strong and you feared us. Now we will teach you a third option. Being strong enough that you do not need to prove it. That is the foundation of the Frontier Alliance. Mutual respect, fair dealing, and the strength to enforce peace when necessary. Admiral Donga Shin retired after the war. He gave his final speech to Earth's military academies, addressing the next generation of officers. You will hear stories about the Vraxil War, he told them. Some will say we were heroes. Others will say we were too brutal. Both are wrong. We were soldiers doing a necessary job. We protected our people. We followed our orders. We used the minimum force necessary to achieve our objectives. And we stopped the moment those objectives were achieved. That is what separates warriors from murderers. He paused, looking at the young faces. Some of you will never see combat. Be grateful. Some of you will. When that day comes, remember, the goal is not to kill your enemy. The goal is to stop your enemy from killing you. Sometimes those are the same thing. Usually they are not. Choose wisely. History will judge you by the choices you make, not the victories you win. Dr. Yuna Lee established the Cultural Exchange Institute, teaching both humans and aliens about each other. She believed education was the key to preventing future conflicts. "We fought a war because the Vraxil did not understand humans," she said in her first lecture. "They saw our patience and thought we were weak. They saw our diplomacy and thought we were scared. They did not understand that humans are capable of incredible violence but choose not to use it. That choice is what makes us strong, not the violence itself." A young student, a Vraxil named Krell, who had been an officer during the war, asked a question. "How do we prevent this from happening again? How do we make sure species understand each other better?" "We talk," Una said simply. "We learn, we listen, we remember that every species has strengths and weaknesses. We respect differences instead of fearing them. And most importantly, we build relationships when times are peaceful so we have trust when times are hard." Years passed. The Frontier Alliance grew stronger. The Vraxil, reduced but not destroyed, rebuilt their society with new leadership that understood cooperation was better than conquest. Human colonies flourished, protected by the Frontier Guard and respected by their neighbors. One day, Captain Jiwon Park, now an admiral commanding the entire Frontier Guard, received a message from a Vraxil elder. It was Supreme Commander Thrax, released from prison after serving his sentence. "Admiral Park," the old Vraxil said, "I spent years hating you. Hating all humans. You destroyed my empire, captured me, humiliated me. I wanted revenge. And now?" Jiwon asked carefully. "Now I'm old and wiser. I see what my pride cost my people. I see how the Frontier Alliance has brought more peace than the Coalition ever did. I see Vraxil children growing up without war." Thrax paused. "I still do not like you, but I respect you. You gave us every chance to surrender. We refused. The deaths that followed were our choice, not yours. I wanted you to know I finally understand that." "Thank you," Jiwon said quietly. "That means more than you know." After the call ended, Minho, now a captain serving under Jiwon, asked what she was thinking. "I am thinking about a conversation we had years ago," Jiwon said. "About whether we did the right thing. I think we did. But I am glad the people we fought can now see that too. That is what separates us from conquerors. We want our enemies to become friends, not corpses." Private Sujin. Oh, now Lieutenant Sujin Oh, gave a speech at Haven 7's memorial for the 50 colonists who died. Yoonji, now a teenager, stood beside her. "We will never forget what happened here," Sujin said. "We will never forget that the galaxy abandoned us. We will never forget that Earth came for us. But most importantly, we will never forget why we are still here, because humanity refused to let violence win. We fought back. We showed the galaxy our teeth. But we did not become monsters. We became protectors. That is the lesson of Haven 7. That is the promise we carry forward." As the memorial ended and people returned to their lives, Yoonji looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, human warships patrolled, keeping them safe. Ships built for war but used for peace. Weapons that existed so they would never need to be used again. "Do you think there will be more wars?" Yoonji asked. Sujin looked at the same sky. "Maybe. The galaxy is a big place with many species. But if there are more wars, humanity will be ready, and everyone knows it. That knowledge, that certainty, will prevent more conflicts than any number of diplomats or treaties ever could. Because we are the strongest, because we are strong enough to protect the weak, wise enough to avoid unnecessary fights, and brave enough to fight when necessary. That combination is what makes humanity special. Not our weapons, not our ships, us, our choices, our values, our refusal to be victims or victimizers." Yoonji thought about that. Then she smiled. "I think I understand. We are like the tree we planted. Strong roots growing slowly, providing shelter. But if a storm comes, we bend but do not break." "Exactly," Sujin said. "Exactly." On Earth, in a quiet cemetery where heroes rested, a simple stone marked the grave of Governor Kangman's song. Someone had left fresh flowers. The inscription read, "He showed courage in impossible circumstances. He died so others could live. He will not be forgotten." Nearby, 14 more stones marked the graves of humans who died in the war. Each one had flowers. Each one was visited regularly. Each one was honored. Earth had lost only 14 soldiers in the entire war. 14 deaths compared to 40,000 on the other side. Some called it a miracle. Others called it superiority. Admiral Donga Shin, visiting the cemetery in his retirement, knew the truth. It was neither. It was preparation. It was training. It was Earth remembering the lessons of its own violent past and using that knowledge to minimize future violence. "We learned to be better," he said quietly to the stones. "We learned to fight smarter, not harder. We learned to stop the moment we won. That is why only 14 of you died instead of 14,000. I hope that matters. I hope your sacrifice meant something." The wind rustled through the trees and Dongha imagined it was the dead answering him. It did. It meant the galaxy learned respect. It meant humanity claimed its place among the stars. It meant no one will ever mistake our kindness for weakness again. Dongha saluted the graves one last time, then walked away. Behind him, the stones stood silent, watching over a planet that had learned the hardest lesson in the universe. Sometimes, to preserve peace, you must be willing and able to make war. But being able to make war does not mean you should. The strongest warriors are the ones who know when to sheath their swords. Earth had drawn its sword. Earth had shown the galaxy its edge. Now Earth had returned that sword to its sheath. But everyone knew the sword was still there. Everyone knew humanity could draw it again if necessary. And that knowledge, more than any weapon or army, kept the peace. The war was over. Humanity had won. But more importantly, humanity had shown it could win without becoming monsters. That was the real victory. That was what would echo through the galaxy for generations. Earth had given its final warning. The galaxy had listened, and peace, hard-earned and carefully maintained, spread across the stars.